So, Usain Bolt might be the fastest man in the world, with 8 Olympic gold medals and an entire list of untouchable world records to his name. But for a very short period of time before and after his races, he's like any other runner or athlete. He takes off his warm-up sweats one pant leg at a time, and he makes sure to warm up and cool down. It's a pretty simple process, but it's one that's repeated by millions of runners around the world every single time they go for a run. Introducing the StayRunning Warmups and Cooldown informational event. In this event, we're going to tackle the questions of why should I even bother warming up or cooling down, how should I be warming up or cooling down, so that we can finally clarify the importance of these couple exercises and provide valuable guiding information on how to warm up and cool down. So our team knows that runners are some of the busiest people balancing work, family, life, and running. So in all of these warm-ups and cooldowns, we've included a condensed, like a smaller version ranging from 3 to 5 minutes to keep your overall running time short while getting in the warm-up and cooldown. However, for all the people who are heavier mileage, we've included an extended warm-up and cooldown, which is around 7 to 9 minutes to make sure you're going to get fully warmed up and fully cooled down every single time. So all these warm-ups have actually been used by varsity athletes and former Olympic athletes. And after the event, what we're going to do is we're going to send an in-depth guide that is going to outline all the information in the event. So if you want to take note on some of the demonstrations, you can, but we're also going to be able to send that pamphlet to you after the event in your email. So if you didn't sign up through our event sign-up portal, please go ahead and send us an email at info@stayrunning.org. It's also in the description below. If you just send it to that email, we'll be more than happy to provide you with the guide. Also, if you have any questions for us, we are more than happy to answer them. Please send it to info@stayrunning.org, the same email, or just write in the comment section below, and we'll be sure to get back to you. And right now, I want to hand it off to Utah, who's going to talk about why you should warm up and cool down.
All right, thanks, Soham. So I think the most pressing thing that you might be wondering about is why should you warm up and cool down? A lot of you might be wondering, why should I even bother wasting time just warming up and cooling down? What's the point? And before we get into that, we just want to include a quick disclaimer. So as of right now, there are no conclusive scientific studies that link warming up and cooling down with injury prevention and enhanced recovery. However, this doesn't mean that you should abandon doing warm-ups and cooldowns before you run. Warming up before your run elevates your body temperature and your heart rate so that you're more prepared. And also, cooling down after your run gradually decreases your heart rate and body temperature so that you can transition from running to rest with more ease. And also, furthermore, warming up before and cooling down after your run gives you more time to collect your thoughts so you can prepare for your run or just reflect on how the run went. And it's very easy for us to say one thing but believe another. So we want to address sort of how we feel about warm-ups and cooldowns. And we wanted to share our team's perspective on the importance of warm-ups and cooldowns. Our team members have extensive running experience. A lot of us have been running for 3 to 4 years right now, and we've actually gone through the process of warming up and cooling down countless times, almost to the point where we've taken these things for granted. And thankfully, this educational opportunity has given us an opportunity to sort of reflect on the importance of warming up and cooling down. And we wanted to share those reflective thought processes with you guys. And I'll go first. For me personally, I'll be honest, I've never been really much of a big warm-ups and cooldowns person. I have known some people who take this really seriously, but for me, I don't know, it's just not my thing. But I do understand why I have to warm up and cool down, and I appreciate the process for its worth, because it feels really weird and almost uncomfortable to just jump straight into a run without doing any sort of exercise beforehand. And also warming up, it really helps me ease into the process of running, because while I'm warming up, I can just map out my run and motivate myself. So I know which parts of the run are being hard, and I can just mentally prepared for those parts. And yeah, and Soham, I want to transition to Soham. He's also going to be talking about why warming up and cooling down is important.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I was also with Utah on that. Like, I didn't run. I mean, I didn't warm up that much right before a run. And after countless years of built of like being forced to warm up, from the team or from the people that I'm running with, and stopping to warm up for one time, you could feel the significant difference. The difference in your run quality. Your legs are tighter. You can't start up as fast because your legs aren't ready to perform at a high level right at the get go. And that's I found that the same thing for cooldowns. I hate to admit this, but I have like skipped cooldowns for like a couple of days after a workout, right? And the next day my legs are absolutely just, they're toast. I'm sore. I can't get up. It is not fun. And you figure this out. After a couple of years of running, after a couple months of running, not cooling down, you'll see the effects of doing it and not doing it. And it is a really profound effect. So I've seen that both warm-ups and cooldowns for me, they definitely work in combination with my runs. Now I'd like to hand it off to Sam.
Yeah, I'm with those two. I don't think anybody really likes warming up in the moment, but it takes up time you could use for something else later. That said, I firmly believe that without warming up before all of the runs and the races that I've participated in, there was zero way that I would have made it to where I did. Warming up is more of a hassle, but it is so worth it in the soreness you feel afterwards. And, well, the opposite of the soreness you feel afterwards, the inverse, and the psychological preparedness it offers before an extensive workout. Warm up, or else. Just kidding. On to Paul.
Well, for me personally, I am a very lazy person when it comes to warming up. I'm like the rest of these guys and gals. I'm the type of person that when I feel like running, I will just slap on some shorts and socks and just storm out of the house and just go for it. But I do have to admit that warming up makes me feel far less clunky and stiff on the first 1 or 2 miles of my runs. I found that just even a couple minutes of stretches and jogging helps me feel far better on the run than not doing it. It, in a way, oils my joints. And with that, let's hear Caden's perspective on this.
Yeah, so for me, I love warming up before my runs. Of course, I do a bit of a longer warm-up for faster or like races or workouts, hard workouts. But I do some sort of warm-up for all my runs, and I feel like it not only does it make me feel better during my run, but it also kind of puts me in the right mental space for running. And then for cooldowns, kind of same thing. It gets me back. It lowers my heart rate, gets me kind of resting again. And I feel like I feel much better the next day when I do a good cooldown. So yeah, we're going to move on to the next person.
Yeah, so I couldn't agree more with the rest of everyone. For me personally, I actually enjoy warm-ups because they help me prepare mentally for running by like easing me into like the running movements. Like, for example, the slow jog is really helpful, and they're also more of a relaxed effort, so it's a really good transition. And also cooldowns, they, like Soham mentioned, they help prevent our muscles from feeling sore the day after a hard workout or run, and they really make a lot of difference long term. And with that, we're gonna go into more detail with warm-ups with Paul.
All right, so what's it now? We keep on throwing around the term warming up, cooling down, and the real question is, how should you do it? Well, for starters, as stated earlier, there's no proven scientific link between warming up and cooling down with injury prevention and performance increase. A major reason for this is that there's no universal warm-up cool-down style that fits all activities. that the effectiveness of a warm-up or cooldown shifts based on the relevance of those processes to the activity that's being done. This means that we cannot provide a surefire warm-up or / cooldown routine that fits everyone's needs and capacities. Not to worry though, we have compiled a different warm-up and cooldown routine from a variety of sources so that you can create your own warm-up and cooldown routines. These warm-up and cooldown routines are targeted for different types of runners based on the criteria that fits your situation. You can choose to use that routine or mix and match exercises from different routines. The first routine that we got is from the Nike Run Club. It's recommended by 2 coaches there. And it's about 5 minutes long. The first stretch is are called knee hugs. They're dynamic stretch that stretches your hip flexors and activates your glutes and hamstrings. You start off by bringing one leg up. Don't grab it straight away. Instead, activate your stabilizer muscles. Tuck your knee in and pop up on your toe. Then continue by alternating legs each time. Do 5 reps of these on each leg. The next stretch is tabletops. This is very important for hip flexors if you sit all day. Get this to a stable standing foot and pull up on an ankle and shin. Don't pop up on a toe like the last stretch. Find your balance for a couple of seconds, then switch and repeat. Don't lean to either side. You should feel your hips opening up. Do 5 reps per leg. The next stretch is scoops. Start with the front leg straight and back leg bent. Then pop the booty back and scoop your hands down towards your toes, hinging at your hips. Look straight ahead and that helps your back stay straight. Do 5 on each leg. The next stretch is standing glute kickback. This is crucial to find your balance. Go into a flamingo position with one knee raised. Slightly lean forward and kick one of your legs back while leaning forward. This wakes up your glute in that leg. Switch legs, find the balance, and kick back again. Keep your back straight while doing all of this. 5 on each leg. The last one is quad pull. This warms up and activates the quads and hip flexors and elongates your stride. Bring one leg up and don't grab it straight away. Grab your ankle and tug gently and release. Alternate the legs every couple seconds. The knee should be pointed straight down. You should be doing this while pulling gently. Grab your ankle and not your shoe. Stand nice and tall. Again, do this one for 5 on each side. This warm-up activates all large muscle groups in preparation for your run. The next warm-up routine is a 3-minute warm-up routine by Critical Bench. This is recommended by one of the coaches. We start off first with knee hugs. Again, take your hand off your knee and pull it up to your belly button line. Then drop it. Do the same on the other side and repeat this for 30 seconds. Make sure your back is straight while doing it. Do, again, a quad stretch, this time for 30 seconds. Remember to lift up your ankle and behind your back or behind your leg so that you can grab it. Pull up your ankle to your hip and then release it. Do this with the other leg and repeat the process for the next 30 seconds. The next one is tabletops. As discussed before, grab the top and bottom part of your shins and lift up so that it meets your hip, about your hip. The next one is leg swings. Swing your legs forwards and backwards. Do each side for about 15 seconds. While swinging, make sure that you support yourself by holding on to something, such as a wall or a chair or something nearby, so as to not be balancing while swinging. The next one is reverse lunge twist. Start by stepping back and go into a lunge position. As you go down, twist your back so that you are facing the opposite side of your back leg. After you go to the bottom, come up and twist forward. Do this both sides for 30 seconds. The next one is arm swings. Start with a T-pose with your palms facing forward. Then swing your arms forward and make sure that they cross over your chest. After that, swing them backwards behind your shoulders so that they open your chest, making sure that you stretch your front chest muscles. Make sure that your arms alternate which one crosses over the other when you swing them. Do this for 30 seconds. And with that, we will go on to the hardcore warm-up with Emily.
Oh, sorry about that. All right, thank you, Paul. So this hardcore warm-up is for right before a workout, and it's going to be a little bit longer than the other one. It's going to take around 10 minutes. So it doesn't really differ that much from the the warm-ups that Paul went over. The only difference is that there's going to be short sprints at the end, which we'll go over. So most importantly for these warm-ups, never stop moving, especially for the hardcore warm-up, because during your workout, you're not going to get adjustment time when you go right into speed training, which makes this comprehensive full body warm-up especially important. So first you're going to start out with 5 minutes of jogging, just light jogging, and then afterwards engage in those leg swings that Paul previously went over. So you're going to go front and back, and then after 10 of each leg, do side to side. All right, so why do we jog at the beginning? Well, that helps to engage your body, and as your blood gets flowing from this initial movement, your heart rate is going to gradually increase without overwhelming your body completely. Next, you're going to move on to dynamic stretching and drills. So first, start out with high knees. And with high knees, that's going to be your classic. You're going to run 30 meters, raising your knees as high as possible while maintaining your proper running form. Your eyes are going to be forward, your shoulders back, and your arms will be at 90 degrees. It's going to target your hamstrings and quads and get your blood pumping. Next, move on to butt kicks, and you're going to run another 30 meters, kicking your feet behind you almost to the point of your lower back. This is going to activate your hamstrings and stretch your quads. Afterwards, move on to toe lifts. These can be done standing or sitting. You're going to keep your heels on the ground while lifting the balls of your feet, your toes, upward in the stretch, and this is going to be helpful for preventing shin splints. Next, you're going to move on to lunge with a twist. Paul went over how you do this. You go down on one knee and you move back and forth. This exercise is going to be good for strengthening your glute and leg muscles, as well as improving your hip flexibility and core strength. And then last but not least, chi stretch. You're going to stretch out one leg in front of you with just your heel on the ground, and with your arms straight up into the air, you're going to drop them to your feet, lean forward to almost touch your toes, then bring your arms back up and repeat. And this should look as if you're channeling invisible energy into your feet. And do this also for 30 meters. So why do we do dynamic stretching and drills? Well, unlike static stretching, you're going to hold your position for a few moments only before you engage in those release and repeat motions. And these repetitions are going to help train your muscles to effectively store and release energy by prepping you for that increased movement while keeping the necessary tension in your muscles for your workout. And additionally, according to running coach Mario Frioli, drills are going to take your body through the specific ranges of motion, which are often exaggerated, to hyper-prepare your mind and body for the upcoming effort of your workout. So they also allow you to isolate your warm-ups towards your specific muscles so you'll be ready for the full body movement of running comprehensively. And all right, moving on to strides, which is what makes the hardcore warm-up more unique. So strides are essentially going to be a warm-up for your fast twitch muscle fibers that you're going to need to use on speed workouts or races. So to do strides, since space is limited, Kaden won't be doing this, you're going to find a flat stretch of land and do several 50 to 100 meter repeat build-ups in which you gradually increase your speed to maximum effort. And overall, these drills overall are crafted to warm up your different muscle groups and prevent your injuries. And they're going to get your blood pumping, as the exercises are going to raise your heart rate, and they're also going to warm up your individual muscles to prevent injury. With that, we're going to move on to the progressive warm-up with Utah.
All right, thank you. So the progressive warm-up, this type of warm-up routine, it's really suited for runners that are looking to get running right away, because it's more of a direct warm-up and less of a routine. And so once you're ready to run, you should begin jogging at a very slow pace. And by very slow pace, we mean like just slower than your normal jogging pace, just slower than your normal warm-up pace. And you wanna begin gradually increasing the pace from jogging pace to easy running pace to conversational running pace until you reach a pace that's comfortably hard. And what we mean when we say comfortably hard, obviously that's gonna differ. That's gonna differ between people, but when we say a pace that's comfortably hard, we mean like a pace that you wouldn't be able to have a conversation with someone if you were running with another person. And so, how long you run at each pace and how quickly you increase the pace is entirely up to you. But if you're looking for a sense of structure, you could always increase the pace every mile, or after a certain period of time passes. For example, you get faster every 10 minutes, that kind of thing. And the goal of this warm up routine is to really ease into running so that you can get acclimated to the pace comfortably and finish at a strong pace. And this warm up sort of routine is perfect for when you're feeling sore or just tired, because you can just start off slow, sort of gauge how you're feeling. If you're not feeling that good, or if you're just feeling kind of sort of really sore and stuff, you can always just continue at that slow pace that you started. But if you feel better, you could always just ramp up the pace later in the run. And yeah, and I'd like to pass it off to cooldowns, and Emily will be talking about that.
All right, thank you, Utah. So here's why I should cool down. Although, like, as Utah mentioned before, there's no like explicit scientific evidence why that they're absolutely necessary. It's still good to just have that cool down, because it's going to ease your muscles and gradually lower your heart rate, as mentioned before. And this is going to avoid that rapid flow of blood to your lower limbs, which might result in dizziness and discomfort for you. Additionally, according to a study documented for Human Kinetics by Owen Anderson, an expert running coach, extensive cooldowns are going to help alleviate your muscle soreness and improve the range of motion for your legs. So going over a cooldown overview, it's helpful to immediately after that main run, it's best to do a cooldown by jogging at a very light pace for several minutes to ease your muscles, as we said before. And then after that, it's helpful to repeat drills, which is basically going to be a duplicate of your warm-up, and then afterwards move on to stretches. So it's important to practice a good stretching routine for at least 5 minutes after your run. That involves standing, and you're going to hold each stretch for about 10 breaths to 30 seconds, because basically if you don't hold it for long enough, your muscle won't be relaxed, so you won't be doing anything to improve your range of motion. And if you don't breathe, your muscles won't relax either. So while you hold these stretches, you should also feel a stretching sensation, but no discomfort or pain. If you experience any extreme discomfort or pain while stretching, talk to a physical therapist or your physician. And now I'm going to pass it on to Sam, who will go over the different cooldowns.
Sweet. Thank you. One thing I'd like to reinforce is that the cooldown is pretty much just like an opposite warm-up, where you end by jogging a little bit slower, and then you get into some more kinetic cooldown drills, and then like the statics drills. And the reason we've got a kind of build it yourself cooldown is because everyone's individually different, and the type of exercise that you're doing is different. And so we want you to focus on the elements of your body that need more attention, depending on what kind of exercise you're doing. Also, many of these stretches are going to be ones that we've mentioned earlier, but we have skeletons of cooldowns that we use and we want you to use. And we also want you to be able to introduce your own stretches as well. So there's a lot of kind of mix and match going on. First, the quick cool down. This is for the runner on the run. Start with a slow jog for about 5 minutes, and then we've got 4 stretches. Some of these are stretches, like I said, we've gone over earlier. But the first one is hip circles. So this might be part of the leg swings routine we mentioned. Position yourself against a surface like a fence or the floor, and then rotate your knee in a circular motion. Also watch Caden while he does this. Up to your chest and back down and around. First clockwise and counterclockwise 10 times for each leg is hip circles, appropriately named. Second, it's the pigeon pose. On the floor, tuck your outside leg in front of you, underneath your torso, and then you lean forward with the other leg straight out behind you. This is another 30 seconds, but this one's a little bit difficult if you're not flexible. So there's an alternative, which is the butt stretch, which Caden should demonstrate. But you place the ankle of one leg on your other knee as you're sitting down, and then hold that for 30 seconds. Next, the downward dog. You face the ground, keep one leg straight as you raise your butt up, and you form an angle with your body. The balls of one foot should be planted firmly on the ground, and the other foot should be pressing the other foot's heel into the ground. Watch Caden for a clearer demonstration. And you're stretching the calf muscles in your straight leg. Next, lunges while stretching the arms. It's kind of how it sounds. On one knee, you stretch the other leg out behind you, and then you grasp one arm, hook it around the other, and stretch it across your body. Another element of a cool down that doesn't happen instantly right after is rolling out. You can roll out 2 to 4 hours, or even 6 sometimes, after your workout to reduce soreness that occurs overnight that you'll feel the next day. To roll, you can use a soft foam roller and move back and forth on your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, and your back. Additionally, a stick roller can target more specific areas, especially if you get a friend to roll out your calves. You can just lay down, and it is painful, but it's totally worth it. Next, it's a longer cool down skeleton for the runner with the time and dedication, or just a more difficult workout. And yeah, start with a slow jog for 8 to 15 minutes, and then it's the drills that you find in the hardcore warm-up that we went over, and the stretches that were in the hardcore warm-up. So for the dynamic ones, after your jog, start with arms, knee hugs, high knees, butt kicks, and then toe lifts. And the static stretches are the quad stretch, the calf stretch, where you put your foot up against the wall and then lean forward until you can feel a stretch in that calf. Another one is touching your toes. It's pretty self-explanatory. You lean forward and you touch your toes with your legs straight. Next one, standing hamstring stretch. You lean forward a little bit, slightly bend the knee in the front, and you keep your back leg straight and stretch that hamstring in the lower thigh. Standing hip flexor stretch is another one. It's pretty similar. You bend one leg at the knee, you keep the other one straight, slightly behind you, and you just kind of thrust your hips forward very slowly, and kind of feel that stretch. This one you also want to roll out a couple hours afterwards. A longer, more thorough cool down is helpful for me in my experience, but a short one will do the trick as well if you're short on time. Back to Soham for a concluding message.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. So guys, that is the extent to our video today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate all your support and all your views at the organization. That's what kind of keeps us afloat. If you have any questions about the content, if you have any concerns, if you want to know more about the warm-ups, please feel free to shoot us an email at info@stayrunning.org. The email is also in the description below. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to just put them in the comment section, and we'll make sure to send them all to our physical therapist team, who will make sure to reach out as soon as possible and to get all your questions answered. So once again, thank you so much. If you want more running content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.